Hello again, folks. Randy Gildersleeve here, and today I'm going to talk about playing a bluegrass solo on the song Keep on the Sunny Side. The reason I'm doing this is I've been doing some thinking about trying to help my students learn how to create their own bluegrass solos, and it's not as hard as you might think. Once a month, I host a bluegrass jam session for mostly entry-level to intermediate players, and quite a few are guitar players, of course. Oftentimes, where they show some fear and trepidation is when they're asked to jump in and play a solo. So a lot of times, if you can have something prepared when a song comes around, it's a great idea. The song we're going to look at is "Keep on the Sunny Side." It's a bluegrass classic that goes back to the Carter family, but it's been recorded in more recent times. It's on the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" soundtrack. It's also been recorded by Alison Krauss and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. We're going to take a look at it. I'm going to play it in the key of G, but of course, in a jam session, you might end up playing it in some other key with a capo, maybe at the 3rd fret, which would put you in B flat, or even the 5th fret, which would put you in C. Just depends on where the singers are. I'm going to break this down into a few parts, and I have solo pieces for both the verse and the chorus. And I just want to mention that when your opportunity comes to solo, you might be given an entire pass through the chord progression, or you might just be given one or the other, the verse or the chorus. So I'm going to point out each as they go by. I did a recording of it at the beginning of this video where I'm playing it at 160 beats a minute, which is I guess a reasonable entry-level speed for this song to sing and play, but I've also got a slower version of it and a practice track for you to play along with. So let's get started. As your solo approaches, you'd be hearing probably the end of the chorus, which is, "If we keep on the sunny side of life." So you've got a chunk of about 4 measures there: G, C, G, D, 7, G. And as is often the case with playing a solo, it's a good idea to have some pickup notes. And this brings me to the first idea that I want to get across to you, which is the melody in this kind of music is really all important. And so this solo will primarily be playing the melody with some flourishes to make it a little more interesting and also a little more guitaristic. The first phrase that we're going to play starts with 2 pickup notes. They're on beat 3 and 4, coming into the verse chord progression. So this is the verse that we're going to be dealing with here first, and it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's just the first line of the melody. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. I just simply played those notes. But then there's some space, and this is a really important idea with all kinds of lead playing, where your solo is basically the melody. You've got some spaces between the singing melody. So those spaces are prime territory for you to add in your own personality and fit some things in and make the whole thing a little bit more interesting. So what I did was just added a classic few notes from the major pentatonic scale. Here's what I did. So I start on the 5th string, and I mentioned pentatonic scale. So this is the G major pentatonic scale. And what is that? Well, it's 5 notes from the G major scale. The G major scale you'd probably know is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The major pentatonic scale is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th notes of the scale. And on the guitar, in the first position here, it's gonna look like this: 3rd fret on the 6th string, open and 2nd fret on the 5th string, open and 2nd fret on the 4th string, open and 2nd fret on the 3rd string, open and 3rd fret on the 2nd string, open and 3rd fret on the 1st string. So it sounds like. And those are the primary colors. They're the notes that you really can't go wrong with in a folk bluegrass type song like this. So especially since the chords of this song are entirely G, C, and D, just the basic primary chords of this song. Here's my next phrase. Okay, so the first chunk of that, as before, is a piece of the melody, but I did put a slide in there instead of just going. That's what I could have played for the melody, but I decided to add a slide, which gives it a little more guitaristic flair. So 3, 4, and then I also played. I moved into what we call the 2nd position of the major pentatonic scale. It's just an area that looks like this, kind of an extension of that major pentatonic, G major pentatonic scale that I showed you a minute ago. Here's that phrase again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I've got a space in my melody, and I'm just going to do something that outlines the D chord, because that's where we are in the chord progression, and I'm going to go like this. So I just took some notes of the D chord and I added a pull off to make it a little more interesting. Here's all that again. 1, 2. Okay, here's our next phrase. And right there, the melody fills up pretty much all the available space, so I just simply played the melody. I'll play it one more time. 1, 2. And here's the next phrase, which kind of ends our verse section of the solo. So the part of that was strictly the melody. Again, space where there's nothing happening with the melody, so did one of the classic major pentatonic guitar licks, and that's this. So it's like 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1. And then I played 3 notes that are open strings from the G chord that lead us into the chorus. So let me play that last section again. 1, 2. Now we're headed into the chorus. The first section of the chorus is melody. Pretty straightforward, playing on the first 4 strings and all in our first position G major pentatonic scale. And then our second phrase is again using that next position up on the first 3 strings, and I'm going to use that slide again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you probably caught that at the end of that vocal phrase, I just put a little bluesy sounding lick, and this is on a D chord at this point. So I slid from my 3rd fret to the 4th fret, and you might be saying, hey, wait a minute, those notes aren't in the major pentatonic scale. They're not. The one I slide into is in the G major scale though, and then the note I'm sliding from is a flatted 7th, which just adds that bluesy sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2. 1, 2, Okay, off we go to the next part of the chorus. So again, we're back in the melody and just playing it very straight. And again, all of these notes are available to us in the first 4 strings of the open position. And here's the last part. If we keep right, so I played the melody and then put in what some people call the Lester flat run, G run, at least part of it. And so I'm starting again on a note that's not in the major pentatonic scale, but it gets us immediately heads to one, and I hammer on here. So keeping my first finger down, hammering on with my middle finger, and then 4th string. So that sounds like, and that's a pretty simple little run that you can add just about any time that you have some space and you're on a G chord. Take a look now at the slower version at 125 beats per minute, play along with, and then I've got just the rhythm guitar track of the 160 beat version available for you. Let me just sum up this video by saying step 1 for a song like this is to learn the melody, and that information is available lots of places. There's bluegrass fake books, there's online sources, all kinds of things to learn those melodies and chord progressions. That's really important in this kind of music. And then step 2 is learn some little flourishes that you can put in. You can think of these as licks based on the major pentatonic scale, in this case, G major pentatonic scale. Hopefully the ones I've shown you today you can add to your repertoire of ideas and start fitting them in. They can even fit in at the end of vocal phrases as fills, things like that. So have fun with this, and we'll see you soon. Keep playing. Bye-bye.